In terms of your own career, where are we at right now? Because the last time we heard from you,
I'm waiting for the winner of Ilia and Charles. They fight next week, June 28th. I'll be there. That's who I want to fight.
I've been interviewing you for about 10 years now. I think I kind of know your answer, but Ilia is saying if Islam wins, he's going to push to go up to welterweight after that. So
I can't control any of that, so I don't spend no energy on it. But sounds stupid to me. We'll see.
Ilia Topuria. Now you look at Topuria and you think heavy hands, great grappler. What I like watching with him is his foot placement. The way he distributes his balance through his feet is unbelievable. So it's just a little nuance that he does is when he comes from this, doing these boxer style punches, because his centre of gravity is low, he can easily shoot him for the legs as well. And because he is that little bit shorter as well, especially at lightweight with the taller guys, this wide stance, twisty boxing style, it works really well to go up and down with the takedowns. Let's see what he does.
Before we begin, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss any updates in the fight world. Let's get straight to it. Tom Aspinall recently opened up about the highly anticipated showdown between Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira. Meanwhile, Justin Gaethje shared that his full attention is on the winner of Topuria versus Oliveira, set for June 28th. He plans to be present at the event and brushed off any rumors of Topuria moving up to welterweight if Islam Makhachev wins. According to him, it's not something he can control, and he finds that idea a bit ridiculous. When asked about potential retirement if he doesn't get a title shot, Gaethje admitted that his decision changes day to day. It's an emotional sport, and he tries to stay quiet during such moments. Still, he made it clear, if he steps back in the octagon, it has to be a fight that matters, ideally for the title.
Awesome.
in terms of your own career, where are we at right now? Because the last time we heard from you,
I'm waiting for the winner of Ilia and Charles. They fight next week, June 28th. I'll be there. That's who I want to fight.
I've been interviewing you for about 10 years now. I think I kind of know your answer, but Ilia is saying if Islam wins, he's going to push to go up to welterweight after that. So
I can't control any of that, so I don't spend no energy on it. But sounds stupid to me. We'll see.
Your manager Ali also said earlier, and I want to get your words because we've only heard from Ali, that if you don't get the title shot, you're willing to just hang it up and walk away for good.
We'll see how it goes. Catch me on a certain day, I'll tell you a certain thing. It's a very emotional sport, but I try not to speak too out of pocket when I'm emotional, which is right now. So I'm going to fight again in the future. Has to be the champion.
Belal Muhammad weighed in with his own breakdown of the matchup, pointing out where each fighter could find success. For Oliveira, he said the key would be to keep things gritty, pressing forward, clinching, grappling early, and testing Topuria's strength and cardio at lightweight. He warned that Oliveira should avoid striking exchanges in the open, where he's been caught before, and instead take the fight into his realm with relentless pressure and ground control.
Is Topuria ready for 155? Is his power going to translate? Keys to victory for Charles Oliveira. You got to make it dirty. You got to get close on him. I think you have to initiate the clinch, initiate grappling exchanges, especially early. Don't try to sit there and box with him. Don't strike with him. I know you have a high guard, but you get caught a lot with looping punches on the outside. You don't want to get caught with a looping punch by Topuria. I would say go high body lock. Let's test his strength. Let's see if he's strong enough for 155. Even if you have to pull guard, we haven't really seen Topuria's ground game that well, right? They say he has great grappling, but that's your world. You can wear on him, pull on him. Let's see if he added a little bit too much muscle. That's going to mess up his cardio, and it's just going to mess up his rhythm.
On the flip side, Belal analyzed Topuria's technical strengths, clean boxing, smooth footwork, and the ability to dictate pace and distance. He advised Topuria to chip away at Oliveira's legs and body to open up the head for heavy punches. And if Topuria scores a knockdown, Belal emphasized that he shouldn't hesitate to go for the finish, unlike past opponents who held back due to Oliveira's submission threat. While respecting Oliveira's danger, Belal leaned towards Topuria to win by making the most of his striking advantage and smart setups.
Topuria is a rhythm fighter, beautiful boxing, beautiful footwork. When you're initiating these grappling exchanges, when you're making him think about the takedown, he's not going to be able to set up his power punch. Topuria, exact opposite. Oliveira keeps his chin a little bit too high. I know he has the high guard. Set up your looping punches by going straight to the body, by going low kick. Chop him down a little bit. He stands straight upright. If you do knock him down with a punch, go for the kill. We've seen guys like Michael Chandler and we've seen guys like Justin Gaethje drop him and didn't want to really initiate the grappling exchanges with him. We've seen you go against guys like Ryan Hall. We've seen you against Bryce Mitchell on the ground. You got great ground game, great ground defense. So if you do drop Charles, don't let him off the hook, because when Charles gets back up, he always finds a way. When you're breaking up the clinches, keep your hands back up, proper defense. Don't ever overextend on your punches, because Charles will catch you, and if he does catch you, he does have great power. So be very smart and disciplined with your defense, submission-wise and striking-wise. My pick is gonna be Topuria. I think he's so good with his hands. He's so good at setting up punches, setting up traps, that he's gonna eventually catch Charles.
Dan Hardy offered his perspective on how things might unfold inside the cage. He described a scenario where Topuria drops Oliveira early with crisp shots, but then hesitates to follow him to the mat due to Oliveira's dangerous guard. Hardy suggested this kind of moment could repeat, with Oliveira staying down and daring Topuria to enter his world, creating a mental test for the rising contender.
I can certainly see a point where Topuria gets, where he gets sick of dropping Charles Oliveira but not being able to put him away entirely. Like, I mean, think about this as a scenario, right? So the first round starts, Topuria comes out and he cracks Oliveira with one big shot and drops him. Oliveira sits to his butt and then kind of welcomes him to the floor, and Topuria's like, no, I'm not playing this game, back to your feet. And then he could drop him once, twice more, but not feel confident to rush in and try and TKO finish. Like, it might be the second, third, fourth time that he drops him. He's like, right, I'm going to have to just go and finish the job and get the referee to stop it, because this is not going to be a walk-off knockout. He's too tough. And then he rushes in, he starts landing some big shots. And in the scramble, you can see Oliveira arm dragging him or invert him for an ankle lock, you know, entangle him with some kind of calf slicer that then allows him to climb to his back.
As the rounds go on, Hardy envisioned a moment when frustration creeps in for Topuria after knocking Oliveira down but failing to close the show. That could push him to finally engage on the ground, chasing the finish, which is exactly when Oliveira becomes most threatening. Hardy laid out a situation where Charles capitalizes on a hasty move, baiting Topuria into a scramble and locking in a submission. He framed this fight as one that could be decided by patience, timing, and a single mistake.
I mean, I could give you a few different scenarios like that, but it would be that kind of circumstance, I think, where Topuria's dropped him and then, you know, chases it up on the ground. And I think that would come out of frustration of not being able to get the finish on the feet.
Aspinall had plenty of respect for Oliveira's style, pointing out that he never shies away from wild exchanges, even against the most dangerous strikers. He brought up Charles's previous wars against names like Chandler and Gaethje as proof of how fearless he is. Aspinall said Topuria brings similar pressure and explained that Oliveira thrives in chaotic stand-up brawls, often using that to spring sudden submissions, including flying triangles and other slick traps.
I think something that I like about Charles, let's have a little look at, is he isn't afraid to exchange with the punches, with anybody. We've seen him get punched off guys like Chandler. We've seen him get guys guys like Gaethje and all the rest of the short, stocky, powerful punchers. So Topuria, his style isn't dissimilar to other guys he's fought before. But what he likes to get involved, get him dragged into a bit of a punching match, and then he'll tie him up. And then he'll go for flying triangles. He's not scared to be on his back either. He doesn't mind getting taken down where he's on his back, and he'll be throwing up. He'll be doing all this kind of stuff. He'll be throwing up triangles. He'll be going sweeps, lifting him up. He'll be doing all different kind of attacks off his back as well, and that is something that is difficult to prepare for.
He also praised Topuria as a special talent, calling him one of the sport's most exciting new stars. Aspinall noted Topuria's powerful striking, complete grappling game, and how seamlessly he moves between different areas of fighting. He added that Topuria's blend of Georgian toughness and Spanish flair adds a unique edge to his fighting identity.
But, wow, he's got devastating power, great grappler as well, links everything together so well, great for the sport, obviously Georgian/Spanish guy, so he's mixing up nationalities, and just the future, for me, he's the future of MMA.
Definitely.
He's the next step, if you like.
Evolving
the
sport.
is.
Kai Kara France, who's also competing on the same card, had heartfelt praise for Charles Oliveira. He called him one of the most inspiring athletes in MMA, recalling how Charles overcame early setbacks to rise as a champion and win over fans around the world. Kai talked about meeting Oliveira during UFC fight weeks and said Charles left a real impact, describing him as genuine, warm, and easy to talk to. His admiration clearly goes beyond the octagon.
I love Charles. He's the man. I've met him a few times, and he's just like the people. His story and like his journey that he's had in the UFC. It's just like, that's what I love about the sport. You can't count anyone out, and even his rough start in the UFC or where he was at, and then to go on this massive win streak, win the belt, defend it. Like, how can you not love him? And like, just meeting him in person, he's just such a relatable person. Like, he's just a fan favorite. Like, I've done a few guest fighters with him, a guest appearance with him on Fight Week, and yeah, just really liked him. Well, like, gravitated towards him, just not just as a fighter, but just as a normal guy. Yeah, loved his energy.
Kai also gave high praise to Topuria, describing him as one of the most technically sharp and precise strikers in the UFC. He highlighted how rare it is to see someone finish elite fighters like Max Holloway and Alexander Volkanovski, calling Ilia a once-in-a-generation athlete. Kai emphasized that this matchup is no easy task since Oliveira is deadly off his back and welcomes grappling exchanges.
Ilia is one of the best guys in the UFC right now. His skill set is he's so good at what he does, and like what we talked about, being really selective of his shots and really precise. He's one of the best to do it. Like, to take out Max, to finish Max, like, no one does that. To finish Volk, one of my teammates, like, this is like one in a lifetime kind of athlete. So yeah, it's a unique matchup because on the ground, Oliveira is so dangerous, and he doesn't mind getting taken down or giving up.
Kai further mentioned that Ilia's hands are underrated. People focus so much on his overall game that they overlook how lethal he is in the stand-up with Muay Thai technique and knockout power. He admitted that Topuria could run through Oliveira, but warned that overconfidence could be risky. If Ilia gets caught slipping, he might find himself in Oliveira's world on the mat. Kai said he's hyped for the main event and believes it'll have fans locked in.
They're not as respected as they should be because he is dangerous on his feet. Like, he's got great Muay Thai, and he's finished fights standing. So he just don't know what to expect. I don't know if Ilia thinks he's going to walk through Oliveira. He might, but you just never know. He might, get caught on the way in thinking overly confident, okay, I can take this guy out, and then end up on the ground, half rocked, and Oliveira jumps on his neck, and it's a wrap. I'm intrigued about this matchup. It's a great main event. People are going to be tuning in, but the best thing about it is they're going to more eyes.
Coach Tim Welch talked about the fight's tempo, saying Oliveira always comes out aggressive and presses the action with strikes. He predicted someone is definitely going down in this fight. He broke down their styles, Topuria crouching low and charging forward, while Oliveira stands tall and counters with knees. With both men bringing pressure, he said it's hard to predict the winner, but he's excited either way.
That's one thing Charles does. He brings the pace. He brings the pace, and he gets in your face, and he tries to trade with you. Someone's getting dropped in the Ilia Topuria Charles fight, and it's either going to be Ilia or it's going to be Charles, because they're going to slug. Ilia likes to push people back with that low stance. Charles likes to push people back with that tall stance, always bringing knees up the middle. What's going to happen? I have no clue, but I'm excited for it.
Paddy Pimblett believes Topuria has a strong chance of beating Oliveira at UFC 317. He acknowledged Oliveira's toughness, but questioned how much more damage Charles can take after so many wars. Paddy gave respect to Oliveira's ground game, but pointed out that Charles sometimes takes unnecessary risks. He also brought up the jump from 145 to 155, noting that casual fans often overlook the size difference. Having a similar frame himself, Pimblett said it'll be clear during striking exchanges.
Ilia beats Charles then?
I think he might, to be honest. Charles is a bit chinny, isn't he? I don't know, he's had about 40 fights or something. He always gets punched. He always gets cracked.
Yeah. So, he's reckless, but he's super exciting.
Yeah, he is.
And he's dangerous.
Exciting. If he gets him down, I can see him winning, because that £10 difference is a big difference.
Yeah.
145 to 155, it's a big difference. People don't understand that because they don't watch the sport, or they're not involved in the sport. But that £10 makes a big difference. And especially, like, Charles is like my height. Ilia's like down here when I stand up, you know what I mean? So it's gonna make a big difference. Like,
Pimblett also pointed out that Topuria might not realize how big Oliveira is until they're face-to-face. He explained that many fighters underestimate the physical size of lightweights until they feel it in the cage. He referenced guys like Chandler and Bobby Green as examples of how deceiving the size can be. This, he said, could be a key factor that plays into the fight.
Ilia might get a bit of a fright at how big Charles is when he stands opposite him. Fighters do that with me, who fight at lightweight. You know what I mean? I'll never forget Bobby Green looking over at me and being like, what, he's big him. Same with Chandler. Like people thought Chandler was going to be bigger than me, and he just weren't.
Dustin Poirier gave his prediction and picked Topuria to win, while noting that Oliveira could definitely finish Topuria if he gets him hurt. Poirier said, the biggest risk for Charles is his tendency to absorb damage. He believes Ilia's finishing instincts will be the difference maker.
I think Ilia, man. I think he's going to be way undersized against Charles. I just don't, unless Charles can sub him, maybe if he hurts him, but it's going to be tough, I think. Because Charles gets hit a lot, and Ilia puts people away. I'm excited about it.
Michael Chandler also commented, saying he's excited for this matchup and plans to watch it live. He described Oliveira as incredibly tough with a dynamic skill set, and said it's always hard to count him out. At the same time, Chandler highlighted Topuria's explosiveness and ability to end fights quickly. He called the bout unpredictable, and that's part of what makes it so exciting.
So I'll be cage side for that fight to watch it, and we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, who do you think is going to win?
Man, it's tough. You don't bet against freaking Charles Oliveira because he's so dang good everywhere, and he's a really hard guy to beat. With that being said, Ilia Topuria's got some crazy power in his hands and crazy accurate strikes. So it'll be very interesting to see how that fight goes.
Arman Sarukian offered his thoughts, acknowledging Oliveira's world-class submission game. But he noted that Oliveira's freestyle wrestling isn't as strong, which might limit his ability to take Topuria down. Arman suggested that Topuria can likely dictate the fight's rhythm, with his striking and takedown defense giving him a major edge.
Да, конечно, Оливера очень опасный, он с любой позиции может душить. Но просто перевести у Оливера не такая вольная борьба. Допустим, моя работа, да, я люблю переводить. То есть я его перевожу, и он может контратаку какую-то сделать, там, удушающий взять, как он взял меня там. То есть это возни не будет. Топурия просто будет работать, боксировать, а не будет пытаться его переводить, так как у него намного лучше бокс, чем у Оливеры. А у Оливеры, мне кажется, недостаточно вольной борьбы, чтобы перевести Топурия.
Renato Moicano was skeptical of Topuria's move to lightweight, mainly due to concerns about size. While he complimented Topuria's knockout power and sharp technique, he believes the featherweight champ could face problems against larger grapplers who can smother him on the ground.
You're fighting on the Charles Oliveira versus Ilia Topuria card. Charles is a big underdog. How do you see that fight going?
Man, that's a tougher matchup that a lot of people think. They think Topuria gonna run through Charles. You never count Charles Oliveira out. I think he's very tough. But Topuria is good, you know? He's 145. It's going to be a tough fight for both fighters. I don't have one opinion on that. I was leaning more to Topuria, but today I just had a podcast with Charles on my Brazilian channel. It's just very hard to not like the guy. That makes harder, you know, to pick against him. So I'm going with Charles just because he's Brazilian.
Michael Bisping gave his breakdown as well. He focused on Oliveira's aggressive approach, always attacking with punches, knees, elbows, and hunting for subs. Bisping pointed out that this will be Topuria's lightweight debut, and praised his crisp boxing, power, constant forward motion, and solid Greco-Roman wrestling. He said he wouldn't be shocked if Ilia takes the win.
Ilia versus Charles du Bronx Oliveira. We know Charles, he's a dangerous, aggressive son of a bitch. Gonna walk forward, punches, knees, elbows, he'll lock on a submission. Ilia, this is his first fight at lightweight, and with the punching power of Ilia Topuria, the boxing that he has, the footwork that he has, and the Greco-Roman wrestling, it wouldn't surprise me if Ilia pulls it up.
Finally, Khamzat Chimaev reflected on his early days training with Ilia Topuria at All Stars Gym. He said that long before Topuria became a known name, he was already dominating in Brave FC. Khamzat praised his dedication and said it was obvious even then that Ilia was headed toward greatness. He believes Topuria has nearly achieved everything a fighter dreams of.
Очень известный сейчас боец. Ты с ним вроде как давно знаком. Он тренировался в Альстаре вместе, вот до еще его всей известности. Когда вот тренировки ты его видел, ты видел этот потенциал будущий?
Ну, конечно, просто тогда, в то время, этот был он хорошим топовым бойцом в Брейве, и как я, мы там выступали. Видно было, потому что он такой пахарь и хочет добиться чего-то в своей жизни. И парень добился всех высот, которые можно в этом спорте добиться.
Drop your predictions in the comments. Will it be Topuria or Oliveira who walks away with the win? And make sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's next.